Welcome to Long Island, Bahamas. Here is where we found some of the most beautiful, pristine, and secluded beaches in the world, or at least in the Caribbean. I took this footage on a recent trip to Long Island. It was about a 2-week trip. It's a 1-hour flight-ish from Nassau, Bahamas, and we rented a little car, which is a must if you're coming to this island. There's really not any other way to get around, and you can basically travel from tip to tip. I think it's around 70 kilometers from one tip to the other. Not a big island, although it is one of the bigger islands in the Bahamas. If you are here, please consider giving me a subscribe and a like. It helps the algorithm, of course. It also helps me as a smaller growing channel. In this particular adventure that I'm sharing, we started in Deadman's Cay Airport. It's just a tiny little airport on the middle of the island. They do have another airport as well, but we stayed in the Mangrove Bush area, which is close to the airport. Didn't love it. It's a little bit busier, more going on. Although busy is not really busy. It's a very, very slow, quiet island in general. It just happened to be where we were staying was just not for us. So we did move to a place in Morris Settlement, or they also refer to it at Whims Settlement. My part 2 video shares a little more about that, so take a look at it. It was a really cool place. We're staying what's called, this is actually a boathouse, and the beach is about like a 5-minute walk away. We're kind of literally in the middle of these mangroves, but it's kind of a cute little place. Just kind of, before we move in, maybe show what it looks like. Here's the view. Very different environment than where we were, because where we were right against the water. And the beach there was just about a 5-minute walk from where we were staying, right literally in a giant mangrove area. And anyway, it was a beautiful beach. It was, some parts of the beach was surrounded by homes right on the beach, or rentals, I guess. But if you walked, you could find the most incredible place, sort of secluded in the middle of nowhere. They do have apparently some wild boar or pig and goat in that area, which we saw footprints. We didn't actually see them, but it was so worth it. You could spend a day there easy if you just want to kind of have that experience. Every single time we go to a beach, this is what it's like. It's just beach after beach of quiet, deserted, white sand. Untouched. Sometimes you find places like this in the most unexpected times. I think it's why we have to just explore and go off the map and go off, where perhaps, you have some sort of guide and just walk. And so that's what we did. We started down kind of at the end of the beach, and it was quite rocky, beautiful, absolutely gorgeous spot. But in order to even swim, you needed to wear shoes. Oh, look at what I found here. Very cool to find one of these. Sweet. No washrooms and no restaurants or anything like that, though. Another beach in this location was actually at our favorite little restaurant. It's called Tiny Hurricanes Bar. I did do a review as well. You can look at that. I gave it a 5 out of 5. It's a tiny little restaurant on the island. It's a little rough getting in, to be honest, rougher than the other place I just shared. Our little car did make it, but I just want to give you a heads up. The road is very pebbly with potholes, and just watch your tires. Make sure you do have a spare if you're on this island in a car. Although it was not a beach, I do just want to do a quick mention of the farmers market because it's in the same area that we're talking about. You can just Google it. They have a Facebook page. Google Bahamas, Long Island.
We are at the farmers
and they have a
market.
few things to
It's
eat.
just a little market that opens on Saturdays. Oh, there's a little dog in
there, but it's not like your farmers market that I'm used to with like just plentiful food and veggies and so on. It was mostly, you know, crafts and such. Another incredible find is Poseidon's Point. I did share the link to the person's site that I found it on, and that was the only place I could find. It's sort of a hidden gem. It was a bit of a hike in. The road was sort of relatively okay depending on what you expect a road to be. I'm not sure how a bigger vehicle would handle it. It was very narrow, and like the trees and all of the mangroves would kind of just scrape along the side of your car. So it just felt it was a little worrisome, but it was probably one of our favorite beaches on the that whole area of Long Island, which is on the Atlantic side, not the Caribbean side. It just tons of snorkeling, caves, coves, beach, rock, completely secluded, just so beautiful. Felt like you were just in this magical world of it's what you dream of on these kinds of trips. So I'm crazy to find places like this. So we unfortunately had bad luck with weather and we could not swim because the current was really bad that day. But as you can see, there are turtles. People have shared that they've seen barracuda there, possible shark, but tons of really good sea wildlife. So it's definitely worth it. Okay, we're gonna head to the like the northern tip of the island right now, and I just this is sort of like the famous, you could call it the Columbus Monument. It felt a little bit odd, to be honest with you. I do suggest going because it's a beautiful area. But first, please support the channel with a like or subscribe. It will help all content creators, and this is, you know, adding to sort of my dream of doing a little bit more exploring, sharing, teaching in this way. The very tip of the island, northern part, we will go to the southern part, which is shared at the end of the video and is considered one of the most beautiful beaches in all of the Caribbean from what I've been told. So that's why we're going to check it out. But for now, this is the northern tip of the island where you're going to find the Columbus Monument, the most incredible beach, snorkeling. The drive-in was fairly easy, although the potholes on this part of the island are quite large. So just don't take your eyes off for a second. Have your passenger perhaps point them out because it's pretty startling when you land in one of them. The stairs going up to the monument apparently are new. It used to just be like a hike up.
So we're at the tip and of this Long Island, and once again, every place we're going, we are the only people. So let's see how this beach
It's a massive parking lot, and to no surprise, there was two cars there. One was ours and one was one other person's. Definitely an all-day kind of place. Stop for lunch, to have lunch, not to stop for lunch because there's really nowhere to eat there, but just definitely you could just explore. It's just a beautiful beaches.
Right here you can see it's not so rough, and in this section right here it's all coral, and so you can kind of just, you know, it's all sand and you can stand in it, but right along the edge it's all coral. Apparently we just bumped into somebody who said they saw a couple barracudas and there was apparently a shark sighting.
A nice place to stop for lunch in that area, which we did on our way back from the northern point. We're still on the north part of the island. Was a little restaurant that I want to feature because it was just this little local man that lived there, looked on his own.
So we found our way at this kind of traditional Bahamas restaurant. It's exactly what we look for actually when we go out for dinner in the Bahamas or anywhere when we travel. And it is the sunset. We are happy that it is screened in because the bugs are absolutely crazy. I have bug bites like just all over. I can't even tell you how many bites I have. But anyway, we we ordered something custom. There's no menu. We just said, give us what you have. So we're kind of excited to check it out. It's gonna be good.
It as usual, we were the only people, but it was called the Sunset Restaurant. Again, you can Google it. It had good reviews, but they did suggest, if you can, to call ahead. The next beach we found was another one on the Atlantic side, same as Poseidon's area, in that general area. I'm sharing the map here because I don't even know what the name of the road was. We just kind of looked it up on Google and then said, let's try this road. And it's near the San McKinnon settlement, so by Miller's Park, close to where we were staying. The road getting in wasn't too bad. Again, just depends on what you're comfortable with. Tons of gravel, but then it eventually just turns into sand, and you don't want to go too far in. Obviously, you don't want to get stuck in the sand. That's where a bigger car would be helpful. I was again disappointed that the waves and the currents were just too strong. So we didn't want to, go in and, take the chance. We're not strong enough swimmers, but on some days you can, and there are just tons of coves and caves, and it's just such a beautiful spot. Again, I can't even explain it. You have to go and see for yourself. These videos don't give it justice. I love to run and hike when traveling, and so we decided to try one of the old roads and trails. Again, we just found it when looking at the maps. You gotta love Google and Earth for that. And we also were trying to avoid running on the main roads because the cars just go so fast. But bushwhacking was not really in our plan, and we really didn't have a lot of fun, and we actually didn't make it. We just finally said forget it and turned around. The bugs, the trees, we had like blood on our legs. It just wasn't worth it. Maybe if we had come prepared with pants and maybe a big giant like machete or something. So that was a fun run. Well, we tried to take this off the beaten path run. It really is. Look, Brad's going to use a... Oh, that's a good idea, I guess. Use a stick to clear out the way, but our legs are getting pretty beaten up. So we're going to turn around. It's getting worse. On our way to the southern point, which I will share with you towards the end of this video, a most amazing, incredible beach that everyone talks about, we also passed by a really nice beach that's on the Caribbean side, and the road is right next to it. So at first you kind of dismiss it. And very cool. Look at it.
Look at it moving.
Look at it's all moving. Hello, little cool guy. And that's what we did. But we went back and we ended up spending actually the whole day there. And it was absolutely beautiful. It's called Deals Beach. You can drive right up to the beach and then just sit your car there, so you don't have to lug your car like we did in some of the other places. Very, very, very worth it. It was actually probably one of our more favorite beaches, to be honest with you. There's also a little, it may not be open all the time, food truck on the side of the road. It's owned by a local family. We ended up staying there for a good hour and just talking to this family, and they were telling me how they, just about the island, things like, sharing things about their medical dilemmas. They often have to fly off the island to get eye and teeth care. Sharing their love for the people, telling me how safe it is on the island. Every time a car passed by, people would wave. It's just super safe. It was just really cool to sit and talk to them for a bit. This beach was worth it. Absolutely worth it. Tons of shade. So if you're in Long Island, Bahamas, take a chance to, or a moment, or a whole day even to go there. You will not regret it. Just bring bug spray. Next and last, again, we're sort of heading south now onto the island, and this is what everybody, well, at least all two people we saw while we were in Long Island, wasn't much, but we were told by a few people, and I read online, that Gordon's Beach is just one of the most beautiful beaches ever, and so we were thought, okay, we might as well drive there. It's literally on the tip of the south. You just drive straight south, and there it is, and we saw many beaches for ourselves while on Long Island, so it was worth coming here. On the way here, there is a lake. It's about 15 minutes from the point where you can actually see pink flamingos. We didn't see one we did see them, but I couldn't capture it. So Gordon's settlement and beach is right on the southern point, and we finally found people, about 10 of them. And we only learned later they were all together, one big giant family. And we found beach chairs, no charge. And we found a little beach restaurant, which was so-so food, but it did the trick. It had cold drinks, and we had French fries. No vegan or vegetarian, of course. There is a little boat wreck along the beach, which we loved, and we kind of went and checked out and did some snorkeling, and that was really, truly kind of fun. I wish I could have done better snorkeling on the Atlantic side, but just didn't work out. Truly, I'm not sure which is the best beach, but Gordon's was for sure at the top of the list. I'd also say that Dean's Beach was one of my favorite, but they were all just so unique in different ways and surprised me a little bit that Bahamas island like this could have such diverse landscapes. I did like having the washrooms. I did like having the beach chairs to get me up from the sand fleas, because I got basically attacked while we were there. And but they're all just have the most clear turquoise water, and it's just beautiful. So by the way, at the end of leaving Gordon's Beach, we were actually the only people on that beach again. I hope you enjoyed this part 3 of Long Island Beaches video, and please, not to say it again, but if you haven't given me a subscribe or like, it does help. You can see I'm a smaller channel, and so that's why I asked. Next video is going to feature all of the meals we had, mostly home cooked, and I thought it would be fun because to share what we would eat vegetarian only when you're on an island that does not have a lot of restaurants or even a lot of available food. So stay tuned for the next one, which is going to be what to eat when you're on an island for 2 weeks. Thanks, everyone.